I stared at the charred skeleton of what used to be my back porch, the acrid stink of accelerant still hanging in the air like a bad joke that wouldn't quit, while the fire marshal dropped the bomb. Mr. Harlan, this was no accident. Someone doused your place with gasoline and lit it up like a 4th of July barbecue gone wrong. My name's Elias Harlan, retired Air Force pilot turned small-town arbitrator in sleepy Evergreen Meadows, Virginia, where the biggest drama should be whose azaleas bloom first. But nope. My refusal to bow to the almighty HOA turned me into public enemy number 1. And as I brushed ash off my non-compliant mailbox, I couldn't help but chuckle darkly, because while they thought they were torching my life, I'd been quietly building a bonfire of their own secrets. I'd bought this cozy ranch-style house 7 years ago, drawn to the quiet cul-de-sac where kids rode bikes without helmets and folks barbecued on Sundays. No drama, no fuss. I mowed my lawn every Saturday, recycled like a champ, and even nodded politely at the nosy neighbors who whispered about the weird loner who didn't join their little club. That club, the Evergreen Meadows Homeowners Association, ruled with an iron fist in a velvet glove by Gloria Finch, the self-appointed queen bee. Gloria was the type who'd smile sweetly while citing you for a blade of grass out of place. Stacked haircut, pearls, and a scent of rosewater mixed with entitlement. She ran the HOA like her personal fiefdom, preaching community harmony while fining folks into submission. It all kicked off 3 months back when Gloria showed up at my door, clipboard in hand, lips pursed like she'd sucked on a lemon. Mr. Harlan, she cooed, eyeing my front door's brass knocker as if it were a felony. You're the last holdout on Maple Lane not in our HOA. It's disrupting our neighborhood aesthetic. Think of the property values. I leaned against the door frame, arms crossed. Gloria, I didn't sign any covenant when I bought this place. I'm good with just paying my taxes and waving hello. Her eyes narrowed, that fake smile cracking just a bit. Well, we've updated our bylaws. Automatic enrollment after 6 months of residency. It's for the greater good, keeps everything uniform. You know, I raised an eyebrow. Uniform like those matching mailboxes you forced on everyone? Mine's fine. Thanks, she huffed, scribbling something furiously. We'll see about that. Non-compliance has consequences. As she marched off, I muttered to my dog, Scout, consequences? Lady, you have no idea. The petty hits started small, like mosquito bites that itched more each day. First, a certified letter slapped me with a $50 fine for unauthorized landscaping. Turns out my wildflower patch wasn't on the approved plant list. These daisies are invasive, Gloria's note read, threatening our curated biodiversity. Invasive? They were from a seed packet labeled, Bee Friendly. I paid it, figuring it wasn't worth the fight. But inside, I started a file. Dates. Photos. Every absurd detail. Next came the violation for my porch light, too bright. Apparently, disturbing nocturnal wildlife. I swapped the bulb, but not before snapping pics of every identical light on the block glowing like mini-suns. Neighbors whispered, Elias is stirring trouble. They'd say at the block parties I skipped. Gloria fueled it, posting on the neighborhood app about residents undermining our shared values. Me, I stayed quiet, observing, letting her dig her own grave with that shovel of self-righteousness. Then it escalated to straight-up sabotage. One morning, I found my tires slashed, for neat punctures, like someone had practiced on a voodoo doll. I installed Ring cameras that night, capturing grainy footage of a shadowy figure in a hoodie egging my fence a week later. Zoom in, The license plate matched Gloria's brother-in-law's truck. I filed a police report, but the cop shrugged. Probably teens pranking. HOA disputes get heated, but no proof of intent. Heated? This was boiling over into felony territory. Gloria, ever the picture of innocence, cornered me at the mailbox one afternoon. Elias, I've heard about the vandalism. Such a shame. Maybe if you joined us, we'd have better security patrols. Her tone dripped with faux concern, but her eyes gleamed like she'd won a point. Or maybe, I replied calmly, folks should stop hiding behind community standards to bully people. She gasped dramatically. Bully? We're preserving order. Without us, this place would be chaos. Overgrown lawns, mismatched fences. I walked away, adding the encounter to my growing dossier, complete with timestamps. The whispers turned to outright smears. At the grocery store, Mrs. Patel from down the street avoided eye contact. Heard you're antisocial, Elias, refusing to chip in for the holiday lights fund. Gloria's handiwork, no doubt, twisting my independence into some sinister plot. I bit my tongue, but inside, I was mapping it all: emails, app posts, even overheard chats at the park. Scout and I took longer walks, me noting how Gloria's house had unapproved solar lights twinkling hypocritically. The fines piled up, $100 for faded house paint. It was the original color. Another for excessive dog barking. Scout yipped once at a squirrel. I paid them, documenting receipts, but the dark humor hit when I got cited for my mailbox height, off by half an inch. Precision matters, Gloria emailed smugly. Precision? Her own was leaning like the Tower of Pisa after a storm. One evening, after a long day mediating a custody battle downtown, I pulled into my driveway to find my garage door spray-painted, "Join or leave." Scout growled at the shadows, but no one was there. I cleaned it off, installed floodlights, and added audio to my cameras. Gloria's next move? A town hall meeting she invited me to via a passive-aggressive flyer, discussing recalcitrant residents. I showed up, sat in the back, and watched her pontificate. Our HOA ensures equity, she declared, pearl necklace clutching like a noose. But some choose isolation over unity, endangering us all. I darted my way. A guy named Tom piped up, "Like that wildflower guy?" My allergies flared. Laughter rippled. Forced. Awkward. I stood. Gloria, equity means fair rules, not fining folks for breathing wrong. Ever check your own violations? She flushed. This isn't about me. It's about standards. Standards. My ass. That night, I started cross-referencing her fines with public records. Bingo, her community fund withdrawals smelled fishy. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. I got home late from court. Scout at the groomers, thank God, to orange flames licking my roof. Sirens wailed as neighbors gawked. Arson, the fire chief confirmed later, pointing to the gasoline trail snaking from my porch. Professional job, aimed to collapse the structure fast. My gut twisted, but the irony burned hotter. They'd torched the one guy who knew how to fight fire with legal napalm. As crews hosed down the wreckage, Gloria slithered over, feigning sympathy. "Oh, Elias, how tragic. Perhaps if you'd integrated more." I cut her off. Integrated? Like paying into your slush fund. Her smile faltered, a crack in the facade. I didn't yell. I just photographed everything, including her hovering like a vulture at a buffet. Displaced to a motel, I dove into my files, timelines, videos, bank traces from public HOA reports showing miscellaneous enforcement payouts just under IRS radar. I filed a civil suit against the Evergreen Meadows HOA for harassment and property damage, quietly, 2 days pre-fire. But the real kicker, as an arbitrator with federal ties, I pulled strings for a deeper probe. Detective Lena Vargas, an old Air Force buddy, met me in a dingy conference room. "Elias, your hunch? Spot on." She slapped down photos. Gloria arguing with a burly guy, cash envelopes changing hands. Meet Vince Toro, handyman for hire. Admits to tire slashing and egging. Says Gloria paid him to encourage compliance. I leaned in. "The fire," Vargas grimaced. "Not him, but he fingered another contractor." "We're tracing." The Mickey Mouse operation unraveled. Structured withdrawals, fake vendors, all to fund her petty tyranny. "She's dodging taxes while preaching order," I said, chuckling bitterly. Vargas nodded. Irony at its finest. Word leaked. Neighbors murmured about Gloria's enforcement squad. She doubled down, posting online, faceless attacks from a disgruntled outsider threatening our way of life. Outsider? I'd flown missions for this country while she nitpicked paint chips. I rallied quietly, meeting folks at the park. "Old Mrs. Keller confessed first. She fined me $200 for my gnome collection. Said they were tacky. I paid to avoid the shame. A landscaper, Javier, added, blacklisted me for planting non-native herbs. Lost jobs. Stories poured. Towed cars over bumper stickers. Fines for loud bird feeders. She's isolated us, I said. But together, we flip this. By dusk, 15 pledged affidavits. Gloria's mask slipped. She cornered Javier later, hissing, retract that, or your truck's next. He recorded it, sending it straight to me. Dinner with Judge Harlan, no relation, just a sharp colleague who'd dismantled a similar HOA scam. Freeze their assets, she advised over steak. They'll bleed it dry. I filed the motion that night. Morning brought chaos. Warrants flew. Vargas raiding Gloria's McMansion. She shrieked as they carted off laptops. This is persecution. I'm upholding standards. Burner phones tumbled out. Texts to handle the holdout. Make it permanent. The payment trail led to a second goon. Rico, who'd bought the accelerant. Arrests hit like dominoes. Gloria in cuffs. Still in her silk robe. Babbling about community betrayal. The neighborhood forum that night? Electric. I let them vent. Fined for my kids' chalk drawings. Permanent markings. Another yelled. Gloria's treasurer. Sweating. Tried defending. It was for beautification. Laughter erupted bitter. Cathartic. When quiet fell, I spoke. This ends with transparency. Dissolve the board. Audit everything. Hands shot up. What about refunds? Coming, I assured. And the enablers? Accountable. As folks dispersed. Mrs. Keller squeezed my arm. You were the quiet one. We thought you didn't care. I smirked. Sometimes silence is the loudest weapon. 3 days post-arrest. Interim trustee Marcus Hale stormed in with auditors and deputies. Locking down the HOA office, a glorified shed stuffed with shredded papers. Operations halted. His notice boomed. No fines. No collections. I met the forensic team at the courthouse. Lead auditor, Priya Singh, unveiled the mess. $95,000 in ghost withdrawals. Discretionary harmony fees. she scoffed. Half to shell outfits, including payments to Rico for special projects. Traced debit cards bought gas cans miles from my place. Link sealed, I said, fist clenching. Rain pattered outside, mirroring the drip-drip of Gloria's empire crumbling. Back home, well, the rubble crowds milled at the clubhouse. A woman, Sophia from the corner lot, approached. They say you orchestrated this takedown. I shook my head. Nah, just followed the rules they ignored. Whispers buzzed. Tried to kill him? Silence answered. Next dawn, ATF swooped in, arson sophistication screamed federal. Agent Brock laid it out. Patterned pour for max damage near utilities. Pro work. Photos showed Rico loading cans pre-blaze. Picked up, he sang. Gloria wanted him scared off, extra if he fled town. Charges piled. Conspiracy. Attempted murder. Racketeering. HOA as crime syndicate, the prosecutor quipped. We'll bury it. Lunch with Marcus. Bylaws allow dissolution vote if harmful. He shoved a petition, 70 signatures. Common areas to neutral trust. No more power trips. I signed, grinning. That night's open mic? A plumber. Blackballed for not donating. Lost half my business. A teen. Fined $150 for skateboard ramps. Safety hazard. While her nephew races dirt bikes. Votes tallied. 92% yes. Court stamped it. Evergreen Meadows HOA? Poof. In its stead, Evergreen Civic Circle. Voluntary. No dues. Just potlucks and tool shares. I bowed out of leadership. I'm rebuilding literal walls. Rebuild I did. Insurance plus arson victim grant funded a sturdier home. Brick facade. Fire retardant everything. Scouts mega yard. Sentencing day. Gloria got 14 years for fraud. Conspiracy. Murder attempt. Stone-faced. No glance my way. Rico, 18. Accomplices plea bargained. Lifetime bans from boards. Mrs. Keller on courthouse steps. Neighborhood changed? For the better, I said. She smiled. You weren't just the loner. You were the spark. Rain returned as I inspected my new porch frame. Scout at heel. Hammers sang predictability. Crews, local folks who'd suffered Gloria's wrath, worked with nods. No chit-chat. Mid-June, a U.S. attorney envelope, ex-border Lyle's confession from hiding. Detailed a thwarted second arson on Javier's garage, plus a wire transfer to Rico's sham biz. Case reopened wide. 9 bogus foreclosures. Tampered evidence. Rico territory, Vargas phoned. Mob tactics in suburbia. I unearthed a hidden gem. Covert recording from a meeting where Gloria snarled, non-joiners? They'll lose their cozy nests. Sent it over, boom. Intent proven. Depositions blurred. Lyle spilled on rigged elections via ghost proxies. Indictments nailed 7 more. Fraud. Perjury. Bribery. Neighborhood bloomed. Javier's garden on the old office lot. Sophia's dinners fostering real bonds. One night, I lingered hours. Margaret, formerly Keller, passing pie. Not returning to arbitrating? Taking leave, I said. You reclaimed our freedom, she replied. I just nodded, slipping scout crust. Quiet finale. AG letter voided fines. Wiped liens. Funded restitutions. Javier recouped. Sophia's mom saved her home. Even the plumber got gigs. My rebuild? Custom. No approvals needed. Doorstep envelope. Fire photo. Back scrawled never again. Clear message. Park stroll. Fresh benches. Flyers for jams. No threats. Sophia waved. Join us. I did. Laughter. Tales. Unity from ashes. But here's the kicker. In a world where community masks control freaks like Gloria, was she the villain, or just the symptom of a system that lets petty tyrants rule unchecked? True or false? HOAs build neighborhoods, or break them? Drop your take below.